Are Green Day and Charli XCX really beefing? We got our first look at Ghost World Tour and your thoughts on phone-free concerts. All that on this week's episode of
The Jesea Lee Show. Oh, oh. The Jesea Lee Show. Oh, oh. The Jesea Lee Show. Oh, oh. The Jesea Lee Show. Jesea Lee Show.
Hey, it's me, Jesea Lee. Thank you for tuning into the show. Your weekly recap of everything happening in the music news world. All the trending, cool topics. You know, none of the fluff, none of the nonsense. Actually, I take that back. There's a ton of nonsense involved in this show usually. But yeah, you know what we do here? We go down all the big music stories throughout the week. If you're new around here, please find me or find that follow button and that subscribe button wherever you're listening, wherever you're consuming this podcast at right now, whether it be YouTube or Spotify, Apple Music, whatever it is. Find that follow button and bang your head on it, okay? Does not count if you simply just tap the button. You must follow it, bang your head on it. And if you are listening on Spotify, please give the show 5 stars. Hit that 5-star rating, okay? It costs you $0 to do so, okay? This is a total free experience for you to help out the show. Drop those 5 stars. You know, I don't ask a lot, right? You know, I don't have a Patreon. I don't have any way for you to pay for this podcast. Mostly because I don't think I could legitimately charge for it. I don't think anyone would pay for it. But all I'm saying is it's a free way to help the show, okay? So anyway, your music news daddy had a great weekend, had a great Easter weekend, ate my body weight in chocolate. I am feeling very bulby right now. I feel like, I just feel like a giant Cadbury egg at the moment, just caramel swishing around in my belly.
My belly!
Which is, maybe that's what Sleep Token's new song Caramel's about, actually. But we're going to dive right into things here. First order of business is Coachella went down this past weekend for the second weekend in a row. You know, Coachella happened last weekend, and they did a second weekend of it. I'm going to be honest. I did not realize initially there were 2 weekends of Coachella. I thought last weekend was the only one. And then I saw posts about where to stream weekend 2. I'm like, oh, shit, that's right. There's a whole nother weekend of this. They really extended it out. So we're going to run down some of the cool news stories, some of the big moments that happened at Coachella this past weekend. First of all, Dave Grohl made a surprise appearance at Coachella. He performed with the LA Philharmonic because if there's one thing that we can definitely all agree on is that Everlong needs more trumpets.
Come on now. If everything would ever feel is real forever.
Sounds really good, but I'm really hoping this isn't hinting at some kind of Foo Fighters ska album. Benson Boone pranked fans at Coachella. Last week, he covered Bohemian Rhapsody, and he brought out Brian May from the band Queen. And I guess no one really cared. There wasn't very much excitement about it. He even made a post following up after Coachella, like a TikTok saying, like, hey, when you're trying to get fans excited about a legendary artist coming out on stage with you, and just nobody apparently cares. I am assuming the fans of Coachella probably would have been more excited if they just got a Freddie Mercury hologram. You know, I think that would probably excite them a little bit more. But this week, he covered Bohemian Rhapsody again, and he had a new surprise guest. I'm not going to play too much of this just because, copyright. I don't want to get this taken down or not. But yeah, here's Benson Boone on the piano. I'm pretty sure he does a pretty awesome front flip right about here. Bam. Front flip city, baby. So anyway, he's singing, he's doing his thing. You probably get more views having cardboard cutout Brian May there than actual Brian May, unfortunately. And also, side note, Benson Boone sounds amazing singing that song. Regardless of your thoughts on Benson Boone as an artist, like, dude has some pipes for real. But the main story from Coachella seems to be are Green Day and Charli XCX actually beefing. So last weekend at Coachella, Charli XCX was spotted at an after party wearing a sash that read, "Miss should be the headliner." For reference, Green Day was the headliner that night. And Green Day fans were quick to take offense to this and start tweeting out. I got some tweets here from some angry fans just calling her entitled. This one in particular share a screenshot side by side of Green Day's numbers and Charli XCX's numbers on Spotify. Said, meanwhile, Green Day, 38 years later into their career, still has more monthly listeners than Charli at her peak. Y'all kids need to sit down and learn about the world outside of your echo chambers. So yeah, Green Day fans were not too thrilled with Charli XCX taking this, what some see as a jab at the pop punk icons. And at this weekend's Coachella, Green Day fired back. Frontman Billy Joe Armstrong rocked a neon green Bratz cap, which I did see some comments saying that he was given the hat from someone in the crowd. So I don't think he brought it with him. So that might not have been intentional. But what was definitely intentional was drummer Trey Cool was spotted backstage with a sash that said actual headliner. Clear jab back at a little troll back at Charli XCX. But Charli shared the photo on her Twitter and went to caption obsessed. So is it really a beef or is this just a friendly little joke going back and forth? I think it's all in good fun, but I really hope they do run with it. Just really drive this in the ground, really get a real good beef going, really go at each other, hard in the public eye. I think that would be entertaining. But if they don't, this was a fun little segment either way. It doesn't really matter who the headliner was though, because really the real headliner, we can all agree, was Travis Scott, right? Not only did he play at Coachella, but he was also at WrestleMania. He did Coachella and WrestleMania in one weekend. That's headliner status, whether you want to, whatever your feelings are about Travis Scott. Speaking of, that leads us into our next topic. There's another big event this weekend aside from Coachella. And no, I'm not talking about Easter. I'm talking about WrestleMania 41. So let's check out some of the big music moments from WrestleMania 41. Like I said, Travis Scott was there. He got involved in the main event. He got crossroaded. Cody Rhodes gave him the crossroads, is what I'm getting at. Flattened about. Another moment was Jelly Roll actually opened the entire WrestleMania weekend, opened the entire thing up on Saturday night. He sang God Bless America. And I got some negative reactions, but does anyone ever really nail the, whether it be the national anthem or God Bless America? I feel like whenever anyone sings these at these events, there's always a bunch of negative comments. No one ever does it the way that the general population seems to agree is the right way to do it. There's always some kind of, clap back, like, oh, they weren't nailing the notes, or like, oh, they didn't have enough energy. What Jelly Roll should have done, though, is he should have tore his shirt off, ripped his shirt off Hulk Hogan style, maybe, flexed on him, waved the American flag, did a leg drop, or, he should have choke slammed somebody like he did at SummerSlam. That's what he should have done. He should have finished the last note and God Bless America and turned around and just grabbed a cameraman and choke slammed him through a table. I think that would have helped mitigate some of the backlash. Living Color played the superstar CM Punk to the ring for his big match. Before the entrance, there was this nice little video package, kind of a backstory of what CM Punk's gone through over the last few months. And they played This Fire Burns by Killswitch Engage, which was CM Punk's theme song at one point. So Living Color starts playing Cult of Personality, which is CM Punk's current theme song and has been his theme song for quite a while. And he comes out and the singer from Living Color actually grabs a selfie with Punk. And one more quick little music moment here from WrestleMania 41. I promise we're not going to spend a ton of time talking about this. I know it's not a wrestling podcast, but you also know that I will shoehorn wrestling into any conversation I possibly can. And, WrestleMania 41 was a big one. It was a big event, all right? And there were some big music moments that I think are worthy of talking about. But Kerry King from Slayer played the superstar Damian Priest to the ring. Kerry King recently contributed a guitar solo to Damian Priest's current theme song, Rise for the Night. So we got to see it live. But before Damian came out to the actual song, Kerry King was just soloing. Kerry King was just out there noodling. And people had a lot of comments about it. And we'll play it for you. It does sort of sound like some metalhead at Guitar Center, just, noodling around a little bit. Got some whammy in there. All right. I think it starts the actual song. Now, I'm not going to dunk on this for a few reasons. A, because I know that Kerry King is a fantastic guitar player. I know that he knows how to play guitar very well, and he knows what he's doing out there. B, pretty sure Kerry King could kick my ass if he wanted to. Okay, and I don't want that smoke. Okay. C, if Kerry King doesn't kick my ass, Slayer fans will kick my ass. So multiple reasons why I will not be dunking about this. And also, most importantly, getting a good sound from a live performance in a stadium on TV is not great. It's not easy. There's plenty of times where full bands kind of sound like dog shit on live TV. And it's even more so when it's just one guitar just out there wailing. But let me know, what do you think about Kerry King's performance at WrestleMania? Do you think he nailed it? Did you like the solo? Or did you not really understand what was going on in the beginning? Let me know in the comments. Our next story, Ghost kicked off their world tour for 2025, but since the band has a no phones policy, you probably haven't seen very much footage of it, very many pictures or videos, but luckily, the band did post a little recap from their Manchester show.
Hi, I'm Vanessa Warwick, and this is GTV's Ghoul Bangers Ball.
GTV.
It is the opening night of the Skeletor, and in just a
GTV. I'm assuming because of the way this is shot, it's supposed to be a spoof on MTV, but it could also be an HGTV joke. Maybe there's gonna be some gardening and some home tips. Some home improvement tips in this. We don't know. It could be music. They could be showing me how to spackle my driveway. We don't know. This could be all about the Ghost tour, or they could be showing me how to spackle a hole in my wall. We don't know yet. We can't make any rash decisions.
a few hours' time, these steps are going to be absolutely packed with Ghost fans congregating for the first show of the tour. And guess what? It's a complete sellout. Luckily, the clergy have granted me. And how much are you looking forward to the Skeletor?
Unbelievable amounts. Yeah, I don't think that there's been anything more excited that I've been in the last couple of years, and I got married last year.
I'm here
So here we go. She's showing you how the whole no phones policy works on the Ghost tour.
at the Yonder phone point, and I'm just going to quickly show you how easy it is to check your phone in. So here's my phone. It goes into the Yonder purse. It's locked now, and I take it with me into the...
I bet there's a lot of dudes that are not going to like the fact that it's called a purse. A lot of guys like, no, give me my pouch. It's not a purse. It's a man pouch. Give me my Yander man pouch. Don't call it a purse. There's a lot of dudes that are not going to like that.
venue, and there are
A lot of alpha bros that are going to make sure that it's called an alpha. It's going to be a lot of alpha bros out there making sure it's called a Yonder pouch and not a Yonder purse.
spaces around the venue where you can go and your pouch will open. So if you need to go back and check anything on your phone, you can do so. And then at the end, I come back, get my phone, and I can go. So it's still an hour to go before...
Skip all that and just not do all that and have a phone with you at the show. Okay, wait a minute. All right, we can't bring our phones here to this show, right? We can't bring our phones into the Ghost show to film any of it, get any photos. And people are obviously a little upset about that. And the band has now released this recap video to show us what we're missing if you're not there, since we don't have the fan shot footage. And this is what we get? This is worse than any fan footage. Why are they showing us? Don't get me wrong. I love Ghost. I love it. I mean, this whole setup, this stage setup looks great. They sound awesome. It looks like the Hocus Pocus band, almost like the Skeleton band. I love it. Looks very cool. I just don't understand why all this hoopla of like you're not supposed to you're not allowed to bring your phone in. You can't shoot any footage, and then the footage they do give us is like fan footage. It looks like cell phone footage, but like worse somehow. It looks like it's shot on a potato. Okay, that's cool. That's a cool shot. There we go. There's a side stage shot. I don't know. If you're going to go through all that, like give us some pro footage of the show. I mean, maybe that's coming. Maybe there's going to be some pro footage. I'm sure they're going to do like a whole nother Ghost movie, a Goovy #2, if you will, at some point. But I was expecting them to actually show us, some legit footage. I mean, you might as well let people bring their phones in and take footage if that's what you're going to give us. That does lead us into this week's poll, which is, would you go to a show if you couldn't have your phone? So I posted this poll on my Instagram story at Jesea Lee, if you want to go over there and bang your head on the follow button. And 66% of you said you would go to a show if you could not have your phone, which means 33% of you are very addicted to your screens, like me. For me, I don't know. I don't love the idea of being told how to enjoy a show to begin with. Like, I understand the idea behind this. Ghost wants people to be in the moment, be living in it, and just enjoying the concert and not watching it through their phone or being distracted by their phone. They just want people there enjoying the concert. And I've read a lot of reviews, a lot of firsthand accounts on comment sections and whatnot, people saying how incredible it was going to the Ghost show and just going to the show and not having your phone to distract you. So I get that part. I do understand that. However, if I'm paying all of this money for a concert ticket, I feel like I should be able to enjoy the concert how I want to. And I get no one's making me do this. No one's making me go to the show. No one's making me support the band. But it's like if it's a band that I want to see and I'm willing to spend the money, I do not like the idea of restrictions. You know, maybe it's my punk rock ethos. Maybe that's what it is. You know, I'm so anti-establishment. You know, I'm going against the rock and roll establishment here. I cannot not have my phone with me. But I don't know. I mean, I would do it. I would partake in this if it was a band that I really, really, really love. Is Ghost one of those bands for me? I don't know. We'll have to see. I haven't made my decision yet. They're gonna be coming to town soon. We'll see if I go to it. You know, if I go with the no phones policy. You know, I feel like if I go to a show where there's no phones, it's gotta be a band that I'm just like super, super in love with, where I'm gonna enjoy every single song, every single second of the show. Because, you know, even when I'm at a show where I'm seeing a band that I really do like, at some point, like I do like to scroll, you know what I mean? In between songs, maybe check Setlist FM, you know, see what's up next, stuff like that, you know? That's the other thing too, is like I have a bad memory. So even if I look at Setlist FM ahead of time and figure out what they're playing, you know, I'm going to have a couple drinks. I'm going to forget. I'm going to want to, you know, backtrack, like, what song are we on right now? Oh, okay. So, all right, that one's coming up next, you know? And yes, I am a dirty little Setlist sneaker, you know, a looker-upper, if you will. I'll do it. I'll look up a set list. I'm not ashamed to admit it. You know, I don't like surprises. I like to know what I'm in for the night. I like to plan on my content, you know? And that's another thing. You know, I get that there used to be concerts without phones, obviously. That was a thing. There used to never be phones at concerts. But how many amazing moments have we possibly missed, you know? I'm sure there are a lot of people in the moment, but how many moments did we miss? You know what I'm saying? Like, how many amazing viral moments have we seen at concerts because of cell phones? How many crazy things have been caught, for better or for worse? How many crazy things have been caught on camera on a cell phone at a show that we all get to experience because it's shared out there in the world, you know? What if, you know, they had cell phones back in the day at Ozzy Osbourne shows in like the 70s and 80s, right? Wouldn't you want to see that? You tell me you wouldn't want to see that? Like, we know a lot of crazy shit that happened with Ozzy and artists like that back in the day. That's the stuff we know about that was like filmed on camcorders and like professionally shot and stuff like that. Like, well, imagine what we don't know. You know, imagine what crazy moments from concerts back then that we didn't get to see because there were no cell phones. How many stories from you know, your dad or grandpa or whatever, like crazy concerts they went to, they're telling you this thing that happened, and sometimes like, yeah, okay, grandpa, you know, let's get you back to bed. But if he had a cell phone proof, you know, if he had the footage of it, you'd be like, damn, dude, Ozzy really did pee in her mouth. Like, I mean, hopefully that didn't happen. I don't think Ozzy peed in anyone's mouth, but you get what I'm saying, right? So yeah, we didn't have cell phones back then. We also didn't have Uber Eats or self-checkouts. You know, so do you want to go back to waiting in line for shit? Is that where you're getting at? Let me know in the comments if you are on board with the no phones policy on this tour, or if you will not go to see Ghost because of the no phone policy. Some other quick stories here. It's being reported that Keanu Reeves has been cast as a villain in a new mockumentary style movie about the band Weezer. I'm not sure if this means he's going to be the homie dissing the girl, or if he's going to be that sweater destroying piece of shit at the party. But either way, sounds like a cool movie. I'm excited for it. I'm excited for a Keanu Reeves. According to a report from film insider Jeff Sneeder, he says the movie centers around a fictional rivalry between Weezer and Keanu Reeves' actual real-life band Dogstar, which Dogstar gave Weezer their very first show back in 1992. Weezer opened for Dogstar. That was their very first show. So there is some actual connection between the two. And it's going to be sort of a mix between Scott Pilgrim vs. the World and the Weird Al Yankovic story, he says. Along with Keanu, the Weezer movie will reportedly also star Juliette Lewis, Eric Andre, Johnny Knoxville, and Ben Schwartz, in addition to all the band members themselves. Sleep Token revealed their set list for Even in Arcadia. It's only 10 songs long, but I mean, each song is like 6 to 8 minutes long. So I don't know, my math is a little shaky, but you know, carry the one, add the remainder, dividends. That's like a 4-hour album, right? That's pretty good. Spiritbox's Courtney LaPlante was featured on ABC News Live Prime. I didn't even know they had a metalcore segment on ABC, but that's pretty cool. She talked about showing up at Coachella and collabing with Megan Thee Stallion and being nominated for multiple Grammys. So I would definitely go check out that full interview if you want to hear more about that. Some new releases I want to touch on real quick. The Devil Wears Prada released their new song, For You. We Came as Romans returned with their new single called Bad Luck. And Bush is releasing a new album called 60 Ways to Forget People. It's out on July 18th. And they released the first single called I Beat Loneliness. Ironically, getting some Bush is actually a great way to beat loneliness. And I got one quick video I want to show you here. For anyone with the benefit of being able to actually look at their screen, right now is the time to do so. If you're driving around listening to the podcast, first of all, you're a real one. I appreciate you doing that. You don't even care if you can see it. You just want to hear my angelic voice tell you about the music news of the day. And I appreciate that. But if you can safely pull over to the side of the road and watch this, I suggest you do because it's a pretty good video. We're going to find out what happens when headbanging goes wrong. To set this up for you, it looks like it's going down at some kind of music festival and Hatebreed's playing. And these two gentlemen are standing in line at a beer line. We've got this sort of Chris Farley metalhead looking mofo right here. And then, he's rocking out. He's flicking his hair around. And okay. Almost Jeremy McKinnon from A Day to Remember did not like that too much. He stops the guy, asks him to turn around. And in the headbanger's defense, it's not like he has some super luscious locks he's hitting him with. I'm not talking smack or anything. I have no room to complain, obviously. I'm very follically challenged and very envious of his locks. But all I'm saying is it wasn't like a giant mane he's flicking at him. But, dirty hair is dirty hair, right? So they're having a conversation. I'm sure it's super reasonable. I'm sure whatever they're discussing is, I'm sure whatever they're saying to each other is very cordial. Lots of please and thank yous, You got some finger pointing. Some handshakes, okay? Now again, let's go back. Let's look at exactly what happened here. A little headbanging, a little hair to the chest. Now, who knows? That could have been the 11th time that this happened. This could have been going on all afternoon this could have been happening in this beer line for the last 20 minutes or so. We just got to film this one time, but it really sets the guy off. Lots of pointing at my chest. Oh, I'm the guy. Oh, I'm the a-hole. Huh? Oh, I'm the a-hole, huh? Now, here's where it gets interesting. You see him grab his chin, and he's like, okay. You can tell he's got devious plans now. This has gone beyond a conversation. Once you start grabbing it, it's like, what can I do to rectify this situation? I've tried talking to this person. It clearly did not go well. What is my next step? Should I walk away? Maybe he just, goes to a different beer line. Trash can on the head. A bit of an overreaction, maybe. A bit of an overreaction, possibly. Let's see that again. It looks like it was a pretty empty trash can, too. I think it was mostly water bottles. It's not like he threw a trash can full of puke on the guy or anything like that, is all I'm getting at. It doesn't look like it was a trash can full of empty taco shells and, chili and whatever other delicacies they had at this festival. Looks like water bottles, some cans. Still, trash, just as dirty hair is dirty hair, trash is trash. Either way, you don't want it on you. Guy hits it out real fast. No swings. Also, who stops filming at that point? You filmed that entire interaction, and whoever posts this stops filming right then. That's when you decide to cut it off. That's when you're like, oh, okay, we've had enough here. See, this is a problem. This is why cell phones should be banned. If you don't know how to use them, all right? This is the only reason why a cell phone should be banned at a concert is if you're not going to get the full footage. This is like filming someone about to do a stunt, jump over 13 cars on a flaming motorcycle or something. And you're filming it, and when they're midair, you're just like, I'm done. I don't need to see the landing. Come on. I need the resolution here. So if anyone has the full clip, if anyone knows what happens, if almost Jeremy McKinnon from A Day to Remember beats up Chris Farley, metalhead guy, or vice versa. I need to know. All right, let's get into some questions. Your Q's, my A's.
Dig to my DMs and burn through your comments and answer the questions that you're pondering.
Taylor Kenji on Instagram wants to know what song/artist is your most guilty pleasure. And I know this is going to sound super cliche, but I don't really believe in guilty pleasures. I mean, I feel like you just like what you like. Don't feel guilty about liking something. Don't feel embarrassed because you like a song or a band that other people think is not cool. I will say probably my most surprising genre that I'm listening to at the moment is any kind of country or folky sounding song that's like super sad about a dad and a son, specifically, about the son growing up and like you're just like missing out on time with them, or you're gonna miss this time with them, or just being your parents passing away and missing them, like anything like that makes you really super sad and super bummed out. Like You're Gonna Miss Me is one of those tracks. I can't remember the artist now, but anything that sounds like that, I'm super into right now. Makes me real bummed out. Makes me real sad when I listen to it. Makes me think about my kid a lot. So yeah, that's probably the most surprising thing I listen to at the moment. Xtina Nicolette on Instagram wants to know, what's your advice for content creators? Just being consistent. I think that's a pretty common piece of advice that most content creators will dish out there. But I mean, it's true. Just constantly keep creating, constantly being consistent with whatever you're putting out there. Don't put out crap. No, don't consistently put out garbage. That's not going to do you any favors. But trying to just be as consistent as possible and showing up every day. That's the one thing, like with this podcast, like this thing takes up a lot of my time. This is a pretty big investment for me outside of everything else I do. But I believe in it. I want it to do well. And I think it's important for me to do it every week. If I'm going to show up, if I expect you to show up every week and listen, then I need to show up every week with an episode of the podcast, right? And I think that's something to consider when you're making content. If you want people to show up and listen to you or watch you or whatever it is, then you got to show up. You got to be consistent. You got to be something they can rely on. That's like the romantic answer, I guess, for content creation advice. Obviously there's a lot more that goes into like hooks and like having a topic that people are interested in, thumbnails, all that stuff. But yeah, I would say just being consistent and consistently putting out something that you like and you're proud of, that you actually generally enjoy and are interested in. That's my biggest piece of advice. And last comment here we got from Keeping It Real. He commented on one of the last episodes of the podcast, said, it's called a gas can, and no way would a quarter of a tank last you 6 hours. Talking about the fact that I accidentally called a gas can a gas tank, which is a egregious error. I'm very sorry. I apologize for calling a gas tank a gas can. And I made the joke that, you would get to the concert. This was about Coachella, how people were running out of gas while they were waiting in line to get into Coachella. And I guess I said something stupid like, you show up with a quarter tank of gas and then you sit there for 6 hours and realize you're out of gas. I guess I said something like that. So devotion to accuracy. You're right. You probably could not last idling for 6 hours on a quarter of a tank of gas. However, I am 100% full of gas right now. So I am going to just get out of here in a minute. I'm gonna all gas, no breaks, if you will. I'm not breaking for the bathroom. I think that's a good place to end, right? I think that's a good place to sign off. If you want to get your questions in for next week's episode of the podcast, you can leave them in the comments on Spotify or on YouTube as well. And while you're there, while you're typing away, leaving comments, make sure bang your head on that follow button on Spotify has the follow button. Yeah, bang your head on the follow button on Spotify. On YouTube, bang your head on the subscribe button. You can hit the little bell for notifications so you actually get notified when I drop these episodes. That's the crazy part is you can subscribe, follow, and you still don't know when I post stuff unless you hit that little bell. There's a lot of little steps, a lot of little steps to get your music news daddy in. It takes a lot to consume me. I get it. I understand. Anything else, you can find me at Jesea Lee on TikTok and Instagram, at Jesea Lee Show on X. And above all else, please make sure to share this episode with someone that doesn't suck. All right? Take it easy now, and bye-bye.